Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how I make ice cream. And the base recipe is just a vanilla ice cream, but I am going to add coconut to it. So it's coconut vanilla ice cream, but leave the coconut out if you don't like coconut. Um, so this makes 5 half-cup servings, and it's a very sweet, rich ice cream. And I like it like that because then it's satisfying and I won't eat too much of it. Now, I am not a chef, I'm just a regular person, so if you change this recipe, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is the way I make it. And what I did was I took some things that I read online and then changed it and adapted it to what works for me. So, yeah, if you ask me, what happens if I use less of this or more of this, or what if I change the procedure, I don't know what's going to happen. So this works for me. I've made it many times and I love it. So you're not going to need an ice cream machine. What you're going to need is a pan, and I suggest that you use a pan that has little pour spouts on the side for one of the steps. It'll just make one of the steps a lot easier. And you're also going to need a large bowl and a medium bowl. Okay, I use Pyrex, but use whatever you have. And then, yeah, the pan with the pour spouts. You're going to need a large spoon to mix things with, and you're going to need an electric hand mixer. Those are very inexpensive, so if you don't have one, it's not going to be a big deal to get one. And you're going to need little containers to put the ice cream in. I get them in the kitchen organization section at Walmart. They come in packages of 3, so you'll probably need 2 packages. And it's Sisterna. I'll put all the information in the description box. And then you're going to need sugar, milk, cream, eggs, and vanilla. And that's it. So let's get started. Okay, so I forgot to tell you, you're also going to need a smaller bowl. In addition to the large one, you're also going to need a smaller one. Okay, so for ingredients, you're going to need 2 eggs, half a cup of sugar. The coconut obviously is optional. You're going to need vanilla. Now, I have imitation right now, but when this is gone, I have a bottle of real vanilla. My husband bought the imitation, and I would prefer to use the real vanilla, and that's what I'm going to have when this one is gone. Now, we're going to need 2/3 of a cup of milk. This is 1%. I usually prefer skim, but they didn't have any skim one day when I was at the store, so I had to get the 1% instead. But we're also going to use cream, but that's later in the instructions. So that's what we're going to start with. Okay, so for the next step, you're going to crack your 2 eggs into the smaller of the 2 bowls, and try to be as careful as you can when you do that, because you don't want to break the yolks. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully just try to transfer the yolk only, and have as little white as possible into the larger bowl, like that. So yeah, transfer your eggs now to the larger bowl, and what is left in that whites, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cover on the smaller bowl that's labeled egg whites, put this in the refrigerator, and then my husband will throw that in with some regular eggs tomorrow morning when he makes his omelet. It's just so that it doesn't get wasted. Milk, and pour it in your pan. And you're going to want to heat this until it's just boiling. So don't crank up your heat. Put it high enough that it's going to boil, but not so high that it's going to come to a furious boil fast. You want to heat it up fairly slowly. Now the reason why I'm using this temperature is my stove is old, so it takes the burners quite a while to heat up. So I'm going to put it on that temperature, but as soon as I see it start to bubble, I'm immediately going to take it off the heat. And while we're heating up our milk, I just dumped the sugar in with the egg yolks, and we are going to cream the egg yolks and sugar together. I hope I can do this and hold the camera too. Okay, so if you just lift up your beaters a little bit at the end there, it will get off that most of that excess batter, if you want to call it that. But so the eggs and sugar are blended well together now. Oh, so for the next step, you're going to measure out 2/3 of a cup of heavy whipping cream and set that aside, and watch carefully to see if there are bubbles yet, because as soon as I see bubbles in that pan, I am going to shut that heat off and take this pan off the burner. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot milk, not boiling, like just barely coming to a boil, and pour it in with the egg yolks and sugar mixture that we made, and immediately stir it. And the reason why you don't want to let that come to a boil, like a full boil, is because you're going to end up with scrambled eggs. So yeah, the second you see bubbles, shut that burner off. So mix this up really good. Okay, it doesn't really take a lot of mixing. Next, I'm going to pour in my 2/3 cup of heavy whipping cream, and then stir it some more. This is so easy, you guys. Anybody can make this. I've made this many, many times, and it always comes out pretty much the same. Now I'm just going to put in a little bit. I don't measure this out, but I'm just going to put a little bit of vanilla, and I cannot hold the camera and do that at the same time, so sorry about that. So I just poured a tiny little bit of vanilla in here. And just, you know, make sure that you stir this up real good, okay? Now what I'm going to do, and I definitely cannot do this part on camera, I'm going to pour everything in this bowl back into this pan, because see these lips on the side? That makes it easier to pour. So pour from these to these. So if you have a pan that has these lips, that's what you're going to need to make it easier for yourself. If you don't have a pan like this, pour this mixture into something that you can pour from. Get it? Okay. So I'm going to transfer this to this. Okay, so I could not remember if I used 4 or 5 of these, so we're going to find out together. And I'm just going to start pouring this very carefully into the containers, but yeah, I could not remember. You'd think I would know after doing this enough times. All right, 5 containers is what you end up with. That's right. Yeah, so you're going to need 2 packages of these if you need to buy them at the store. So that's the base recipe right there, is just, you know, vanilla ice cream. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my bag of organic unsweetened coconut flakes. Yeah, you don't need the coconut with the sugar in it because there's tons of sugar in this already. And I'm just going to put some coconut in here. And when I take this out to thaw out a little bit to eat, and it's softened up, I'll mix the coconut into it at that point. I suppose I could do it now, but it's going to make a mess. It'll just be easier to do it that way. So this is my coconut vanilla ice cream. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thumbs up if you like this video. Okay, gosh, I hope you're still here. So put the covers on, put it in the freezer, and wait 4 hours, and you'll have ice cream.